and come pay attention. The money come when you stop it.
What's going on, world? This is your boy Reggie. Welcome to another edition of 100 Yards of Running presented by the Family Meeting Podcast. Let's get into it, man. What a week 2 we had. Let me bring on my brother from Houston, Mr. August Stevens.
What up, man?
Let's get into it, man. How you doing, man?
I'm feeling great. Oh, my squads is doing terrific this season. Let's get into it, man.
Let's dive right into it. Thursday night, September the 12th, we had Buffalo Bills going up against the Miami Dolphins. Thursday night, where Buffalo defeated the Dolphins 31-10 in a let's call it what it is. It was a whooping, ladies and gentlemen, a whooping. Josh Allen, 13 for 19, 139 yards, a touchdown. The story of the game to me. James Cook, 11 carries, 78 yards, just running for 2 touchdowns. But to me, Buffalo got a good running back in James Cook. He reminded me a little bit of his brother Dalvin. He might be better than Dalvin Cook. What are your thoughts on this Buffalo and Miami game?
Listen, man, Buffalo has always been one of those teams that has been a perennial team that is set to succeed, right? The last couple of years, they've come in, they've balled out, but they just couldn't quite get over that finish line. I think with the things that they've dealt with so far and the way that they've been able to get over that hump, they might be a serious contender for that Super Bowl this year, man.
I mean, here's the story with Buffalo. We spoke about it last week. They have the talent, but Buffalo's problem to me is every time they play a big name team like a Kansas City or even a Ravens team that went to the championship game last year, they can't win the big one. So the question to Buffalo in this season is, not to cut you off, can Buffalo get over that hump, and can Buffalo finally win the big one?
Let me ask you a even better question. Do you think, or is Buffalo just one of those like pretender guys? You know what I'm saying? They're kind of right there, but they'll never get over the hump. What is it that's keeping them? Because honestly, they have everything. They have everything suited for them, man. And it just seems like nothing they do is working.
To me, it starts with your coaching staff. If you don't have the right group of guys, even or on either offense or defense, the coordinators that these teams sign, you got to build a relationship with these players. And each year your team either they succeed or they fail. Buffalo somehow, some way, they got the talent there. They got it on offense and defense. But like I said, they can't get over that hump. And changing offensive coordinators every year, that's not helping either. So to me, they're setting themselves up for failure.
And look, sometimes an offensive coordinator can be all the team needs to get over that hump. You know what I'm saying? An offensive coordinator could be all the team needed to start balling out of control. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, I'm gonna leave that up to you.
We had a lot of 1:00 games on Sunday. Let's dive into it. And this one was special for me because, let's face it, Cowgirls fans, I'm sorry I had to say that, but I'm calling it what it is. You got your asses whooped by the Saints by a score of 44-19. And I want y'all, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to listen to these stats as we continue to go along with this topic. Let's look at this. Dak Prescott, I'm starting with him first for a reason. Dak Prescott, 27 of 39, he threw for 293. He threw a touchdown, and he threw 2 interceptions. No. Cowboy fans, you are paying this man. He's the highest paid quarterback in the NFL right now. getting 60 million, the highest paid, and you paying this guy, and it was a home game, your home opener. You go home to Arlington, Texas, and you stink up the building after you blew out Cleveland. Talk to me, brother. What's going on in Dallas?
Now listen. Dallas fans, hold on. Let me cause y'all about to be real mad at me for this. Okay? Y'all overpaid for a mid-tier quarterback. That's what I think happened. I think that Jerry Jones is a man who doesn't give a damn about winning, if we want to be honest. He doesn't care about assembling that right team. He thinks that his money can buy whatever y'all need for that team, which is why y'all haven't had a Super Bowl since 1993, right? It's it's incredible to me how Dak Prescott seems to put himself in a position. Because look, if you're looking at face value, those numbers aren't terrible. Minus the 2 interceptions, take that away, and you would be like, yeah, he had a decent game, right? The problem here is the offense. The offense, y'all couldn't get into the end zone. You really couldn't. The New Orleans
I'm
Saints,
glad you brought that up because last week on the show, when we went off the air, we was talking about a lot of offenses
yes,
and trusted in that front line, trusted in that front seven.
yes.
Most teams struggle
Now
with trusting
listen.
in your line.
They have a solid line. The
How you
problem with
doing,
this,
Fiona? Shout out to one of our viewers, Fiona. What's up,
what's going
sis?
on, Fiona? The problem with this is the New Orleans defense
Yes,
demolished that front line.
yes.
Listen, man, that front four that the New Orleans Saints have, you are not, and I repeat, under no circumstances right now. Look, everybody said that when they beat the Panthers, the way that they beat the Panthers, oh, it's just the Panthers. They're the garbage team of the NFL. You should beat them that way. So, what is the excuse now with the Dallas Cowboys? Let me tell you something, man. Alvin Kamara and his 4 touchdowns, that is incredible. This man looked like the Alvin Kamara of old.
The
You
man had
understand me?
20 carries, 115 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's on the ground.
Yeah.
Not
We're not talking about the receiving touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? This man is moving this offense in a direction that honestly, I don't think anyone could stop him. Because what's going to happen is you're going to come up against a team that's going to try to put all your front, and all that's going to do is leave it wide open for Derek Carr to slice and dice that offense. That's what's going to happen. You had Chris Olave. He had a hell of a game. Rashid Shaheed, that man was on fire. No one can stop this man from hitting them home runs, man. And when you have a team that works in such a cohesive unit like this, it's kind of hard to stop because you work on one thing, they hit you with another. And look, man, I'm not gonna say it, but the last time that a team, any team in NFL history, put up 2 back-to-back 40 pieces, do you know what that team was, man? The 2009 New Orleans Saints Super Bowl team. That's who.
the only Super Bowl in Saints history. But
I rest my
moving
case.
on from that, like I said, we had a lot of 1 o'clock games.
Wait, wait, wait,
And I'm
wait, wait,
diving.
wait, wait. I have to mention this. Dennis Allen in the locker room. Hey, man, sometimes you gotta pop off and show them. You know what I
And
mean? Like
and
Dennis
and and,
Allen.
and what and the Saints, they surely popped out and showed Dallas.
Look,
Now
this
let me ask you
man
a
is a
question.
whole.
Now that we on this topic, let me ask you a question
Yeah.
concerning Dallas.
Uh huh.
I know they 1-1 right now
Yeah.
in that division.
Mm-hmm.
I call it the NFC weak because let's face it, the NFC East is a weak division. With that being said, who do you see running away with that division?
I'm gonna be real. I think this is one of those by default someone has to leave with the division, right? Um, I would say the Eagles, but they just lost to the Falcons. So, you
which we will
know,
get on later on in the show. But
which we will
yeah,
we will get on. Um, and the Giants, they are who the Giants have always been, you know.
who
Uh,
I'm going to dive into later on as well.
and the Commanders have a rookie quarterback with a new coach and all that. So honestly, I mean, if just off of all that alone, my money would be have to be on the Eagles because they put so much money in Saquon Barkley and all these other pieces, the receiver core and all this other stuff. Their problem is their quarterback. I don't believe in Jalen Hurts. I never have, and I don't think he's going to be able to take them anywhere past the playoffs. But if we're talking about who's going to make it, it's got to be on the Eagles.
I know this is only week 2, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, these players, it's only week 2. They're getting their feet wet."
Yep.
We get it. Moving on, and this was a shocker to me. The Raiders, Las Vegas, Sunday, defeated Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens by a score of 26-23.
Listen. Gardner Minshew is that guy that he can come. He's the new modern day Ryan Fitzpatrick, right? Ryan Fitzpatrick would come in, he would like do 2 or 3 games, and everybody be like, oh, but then when he became the starter, he was like the drizzling shits, right? This is what I believe Gardner Minshew is. He can come in one on the spot and play a great game. But
Mm-hmm.
don't get excited. Please, for the love of God, Vegas, do not get excited about this man. Do not get excited about your team because I promise you, you will be let down.
I will say this about Vegas. They have a coach, a defensive-minded coach, and Antonio Pierce, who was a dog. Giants fans, y'all know Antonio Pierce. Y'all know what I'm talking about. This man was a beast on defense, and I believe that is the type of culture that the Raiders want to build. You
You
know,
want
they
to know
want
what I
they want
think?
those dogs on defense, and they got one in Mason Crosby who went off on Lamar Jackson. Let's call it what it is. And
I'm,
another thing about Baltimore that gets to me is you signed Derrick Henry for what?
you don't really use them, yeah. Yeah.
You're not utilizing these players to their talents. Okay, you got a Zay Flowers who's going to get you numbers. You got an amazing tight end or slash receiver in Isaiah Likely who's going to get you those numbers when you get him the ball. You got a decent running back. You got a decent running game. Your defense is okay. But who would have thought that the Ravens would start the season 0-2? That's a shocker to me.
Let me take it back to the Raiders real quick. And let's talk about the Raiders and their coaching staff, okay? You don't find it coincidence that after the John Gruden debacle and all the stuff they said this man was racist and all that, that
Mm-hmm.
you get Antonio Pierce to be your head coach? I'm look, I I am just gonna lay that out there and then you can assume whatever you want to assume, right? But I don't believe that he's the answer because he's never, I mean, eh, he probably would be a good coordinator. Yes. But I feel like that was more of a PR stunt than anything. No?
I totally agree. I totally agree. I get that since the John Gruden debacle, they were looking for that coach that wanted to change the culture in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And they thought it was Antonio Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
Being that this man, like I said, he's a very defensive minded player. And defense is not going to always win you championships.
No.
Because look at the Raiders secondary. Let's talk about the Raiders secondary. It's straight up garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Without that front, I'm not even going to say front seven, front three.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what Oakland has on defense. Without Crosby, without
Vegas, Vegas, not Oakland.
Let's with Vegas. Thank you for the correction. That's what Vegas, in my eyes, is about. It's like you have those players on defense, but what else do you have? Look at the quarterbacks that Vegas went through. You had Jimmy Garoppolo. What
Yep.
did he do for your team?
Nothing. And
Nothing.
that's kind of what I'm saying, right? You keep bringing in these backups like they're supposed to be starters. Like you bring in a Garoppolo, he doesn't work out. Now you got Gardner Minshew, he's not gonna work out. And Oakland has never, ever since they drafted Jamarcus Russell, they seem to be afraid of drafting another quarterback. You know what I mean? They just keep getting these guys in there and like, yeah, this is the guy. This is the one. And he's not the one. He is not the
No.
one. You need to groom a quarterback, man.
Yeah. Moving on from that topic, we had another 1 p.m. game where I want to talk about this game. The Tennessee Titans getting defeated by the New York Jets with the score of 24-17. And this is the first time Aaron Rodgers, this is his first game back as a Jet last week with the crushing defeat to San Francisco. Some Jets fans might say, oh, we bounced back. It's only a game. Rodgers is going to get better, which I agree. But relax, Jets fans. It's only one game.
The Jets, they have a curse. I really believe they have a curse. They agreed. I don't know. They sold the team soul for that one Super Bowl is Super Bowl III, and now they will never ever get another one again. Aaron Rodgers.
What's up, my brother Beast, my brother Aaron? You catch us
Aaron,
on Saturdays.
yeah. Aaron Rodgers is never. He's not going to be the answer, right? They've tried this multiple times before. They did it with Brett Favre. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? He wasn't the answer. They before him, they had Chad Penning. He wasn't the answer.
No.
And they even the guys that they've drafted. If you want to go to Mark Sanchez or what's that guy they drafted number 2 overall? Man, I can't even remember his name. That's how insignificant he was. Um, it the Jets, I think, because now is the time if you're gonna capitalize on, oh, the Patriots aren't the Patriots anymore. The Bills seem to be stuck in limbo. The Miami Dolphins, they have problems with Tua. So now is the time if you're going to go and try to build something, draft a quarterback, man. Draft a quarterback and really do your homework. You really need to replace that entire drafting team that you have. You need to replace all of your scouts because something is not right, apparently, with the Jets.
Now, y'all
And
know we don't do this alone.
yeah.
No introduction needed. Let's bring in my brother from Detroit, my brother Chaos.
Yo.
What's going on,
Man,
brother?
man. Ooh, very interesting week in NFL. Very interesting.
Very interesting week. We are diving into the Jets and Titans right now, where the Jets defeated the Dolphins with a score of 24-17. Let me read some of these stats out for those who don't know. Rodgers threw 18 for 30, 176 yards, 2 touchdowns. Will Levis, and I want to talk about Will Levis. Will Levis, 19-28, 192, 1 touchdown, 1 INT. Here's my problem with Will Levis. Watching Will Levis these past 2 weeks
Mm-hmm.
with these Titans, I said it last week. The Titans had a lot of talent on that football team. Acquiring
Yes,
Tony
they did.
Potter and getting a guy like a Calvin Ridley and other guys on the defensive and offensive end. My problem with Will Levis is the mistakes. You get a lead and you make these mistakes. And I want to talk about this one play in particular. I think it was a third down, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was a third and like 5. You're almost to the goal line. You only needed a couple of yards to get the first down. What does he do? And these are my problem with these quarterbacks. You're doing too much scrambling. You scramble. Go down.
I think
He threw the ball away.
Yeah.
He cost his team points with that turnover. My question to you guys is this. With Tennessee being 0-2, we're going to talk about a lot of teams that's 0-2. With Tennessee going 0-2, where do you see them going from here? If you're that coaching staff in Tennessee with the talent you have on that team, where do you see your team going?
So they gave up Derrick Henry.
Which was a mistake.
He was the bell cow. He gave that team their identity, right? And it didn't matter that everyone knew they were going to run the ball with Derrick Henry because it didn't matter. He ran right through him, right? That was the biggest mistake they could have ever made. They're planning on giving this team to Will Levis, yes. The problem is these rookies nowadays, man. They gotta go and make rookie mistakes. They have to. And Will Levis, I know he's not a rookie per se, but this is the first season that he's had like a full season to just take the team over, right? He's gonna make mistakes, and he's gonna do dumb stuff like that. You know what I mean? I mean, look at Peyton Manning. His rookie season, they went 3-13. So and look at Josh Allen. He was not good those first 2 years. And in that third year, something clicked. You know what I'm saying? So it takes the right coaching, but also you have to understand you have a rookie quarterback. You have to put the right guys around him for him to succeed. And I don't think Tennessee's done that. I think without Derrick Henry, they've lost their identity. They don't really know what direction they want to go offensively. And that's a problem. They need someone to come in and take over that offense and meld it into something that they want.
My issue with Tennessee is like my brother here already pretty much put it together. Them without Derrick Henry, they're an unknown team now. They're reminding me of the Houston Oilers from where they came versus the Tennessee Titans. That's my take.
Well said.
That offense could be better, way better than what it is.
Getting back, and my brother Cal just joined us. Getting back to the Ravens. And the Ravens. What is your thoughts? What are your thoughts, my sister Charlene? How you doing, sweetie? Much love.
Hey, Charlene, how you doing?
What are your thoughts on the Ravens going 0-2?
August, let me get this one. Let me get this one first.
Go ahead.
I'm asking the $1 million question we asked last week. Why did y'all sign Derrick Henry when you're not going to use him in the capacity as to why you signed him? What is the problem at Baltimore? What is Harbaugh thinking? Dude, you have a quarterback that loves to run, and you sign, in my opinion, one of the best running backs since Okoye, Berry, and Emmett, and you're not letting him run. What are you doing? What are you doing?
They have this option offense they like running, and look, it could be very successful, but you would have to put that ball in the running back's hands, man, especially when you have a back like Derrick Henry. Look, the Eagles waste no time at all using Saquon Barkley. You know what I mean? They waste.
And Stephon got off.
Yeah. You know
Hicks got off.
So it I don't know. You would have to ask the coaching, but I think that's part of the problem. They put too much of the ball in Lamar Jackson's hands. Yes, he's great, but again, it doesn't really matter how great you are. Look, Drew Brees, who I think is the GOAT of all GOATs, had 3 back 7-9 seasons. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Why? Because we had no defense. Football is a team sport. You cannot have one guy and be like, all right, we're going out there. It's not basketball. You know what I'm saying? So
No.
It,
they
it
really need to figure this out because they have the pieces. They have the
yes,
pieces on offense.
yes.
They just need the coaching. They need the system to work better for the players. You have to identify your strengths, identify your weaknesses, and then make your playbook around your strengths.
This
Agreed.
goes back to this goes back to August. You and I touched on this last week on last week's broadcast. Matter of fact, all three of us did.
Mhm.
This goes back down to your quarterback being able to trust his offensive line.
Yes.
If I can't, if I'm a quarterback and I can't trust my line, I'm gonna run the ball, whether I got a superstar running back or not. What needs to happen is that the offensive coordinator, Harbaugh and Lamar, needs to sit down and really sort this out because the more you do this, Baltimore is not going to be the dominant team that they were last season. They were
No, they're
dominant
not.
in the AFC last season, next to Kansas City. But for them to
Yeah.
sit up here, dude, you have a multi-million dollar franchise player in Derrick Henry. The quarterback should not have more yards than him per game.
Yeah.
He should
Nope.
not. That's a
And they got
problem.
Dallas next week. So it
Oh
But
gets
look,
tougher
but
man.
for
look, but
Baltimore
look.
here.
Woo.
Are is that two tails of the same coin? Dallas and Baltimore. You know what I'm saying?
Ah.
Is it because they
Mm.
both now the only difference here is you paid your quarterback and Dak Prescott $60 million. You know what I'm saying? But they have the same problem. They don't know the personality that they have and they're not using them. You know what I'm saying? They're not using their personnel. And
Let
that's a
me
big problem.
let me add to that because I 10,000% agree with you.
Mhm.
And I've said this, all my Dallas Cowboy fans that are watching right now, I'm about to give y'all flowers. And I think, brothers, I think you'll agree with me. Dallas has the roster, the talent, and the charisma. They should be on at least two or three bowls by now.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they can't seem to get it together. I don't know what's going on down
I'm gonna
there in
tell you.
Jerry
I'm gonna
World.
tell you why. I'm gonna
Go
tell you
ahead.
what I just told Reggie. Okay,
Mhm.
the Dallas Cowboys they bought those Super Bowls all the
Yeah.
way
Mm.
into that last one in '93. They
Ooh,
Yeah.
paid for those Super Bowls. As soon
ooh.
as there's a salary cap to where
Good
now you
point.
can't recklessly go out and spend and buy who
Good
you
point.
want.
And I
Good
dived
point.
into this not and I agree with you. I dived into this
Good
last
point.
week.
Hmm.
Jerry Jones, and I'm gonna keep saying this. Jerry
Hmm.
Jones is gonna pay for all of this talent that he thinks that
Yeah.
is gonna be the future, the next Aikman, the next Irving, the
Yep.
next
Yep.
Smith, and Prescott,
Absolutely.
Lamb. Then you bring back
Absolutely.
Zeke. You got all this talent and defense. Look at the defense. You got Parsons. You got
Oh my
Lawrence.
God.
You got Diggs. You had Gilmore, who you let go to Miami.
Yep.
You could sign all of these players, and you're still not going to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You want to know
Moving on.
why? You want to know why? We could have $1 million team, whether it's New York, whether it's New Orleans, whether it's Detroit. We could do what the NBA was doing with the super teams.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Here's the catch. Here's the catch. If there's no chemistry,
Yeah.
you have nothing.
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 Moving on to a shocker in my eyes, and I feel bad for this brother on another end, where the Green Bay Packers shocked me with a backup quarterback and Willis defeating Mr. Richardson and the Colts by a score of 16 to
Let
10.
me let me be the first to
Go
say
ahead.
Malik Willis, he should have been a first round quarterback. He should. If y'all boys haven't seen his college tape, y'all would
I
understand
have,
what I'm talking about. This man, I
man.
believe, if
Come
Jordan
on.
Love is not careful, he will lose his job to Malik Willis.
Let me
And that is
read the Malik Willis
That
stats
part.
here. Malik
Come on.
Willis was 12 of 14.
yeah,
He threw for a buck 22,
yeah,
a touchdown, no ints.
yeah. Listen, man.
Jacobs, in my eyes, surprised me because he finally did what he should have did when he was a Raider. But we're moving on. He's in a new system now, Green Bay. He had 32 carries, but
Yeah.
the man ran for 151 yards.
Yeah.
Let's get Josh Jacobs. That's your job.
Listen, man.
Speaking from experience of backup quarterbacks defeating a team, let's not discuss the year when the Lions played Green Bay in Lambeau. They lost Aaron and a second string quarterback who then went on that following season to sign a multi-year deal with Atlanta beat us by the name of Matt Flynn. So if
Yeah.
anybody, yeah, you remember that? So if anybody
Matt
ever want to
Flynn.
sit up here and say,
No, he went to
if anybody
Seattle.
ever want to
He
sit up
went to
here and say,
Seattle. He didn't go to
oh,
Atlanta, man.
Seattle. Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
My mistake. You went to Seattle. My thing is, if anybody want to sit up here and say that the second string cannot win games, you should have watched this game in Green Bay. It would prove you wrong.
Listen,
Yes.
I think there are guys that come out of that third, fourth, fifth round and they surprise you.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Look at. I mean, okay. Look at Russell Wilson. You know what I'm saying? He won a
Uh,
Super Bowl, third round quarterback. Now he's
yeah.
not doing so hot, but there are quarterbacks. Look at Purdy, the last pick of the draft. You know what I mean?
Who was in
Went
the
to the
Super Bowl
Bowl.
last year?
Went to the Super Bowl last year. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So it doesn't really matter where you're drafted. It just matters that you capitalize when you play. And Malik Willis is one of those guys. I'm telling y'all, he is one of those dudes. And he will
Malik.
mess around and take Jordan Love's job.
Actually, no. You know what I think? I don't. I won't say he'll take Jordan's job. What I think is he will end up like what happened with Matt Flynn, a team who's going to need a quarterback. They're going to entice him with the right amount of money, and he's going to go and be the man.
Look, it's either that or because a lot of teams are trying to copy what the Saints did with Taysom Hill.
Right.
Like Pittsburgh, they have what you call it, Russell Wilson and
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields. There you go. And he's running that option. They could start using Malik Willis now. Now that they have seen like up close and personal, which I don't know why they didn't before, what he can do. They could probably start sneaking him and making packages for him. You know what I mean?
I tell you what, Malik has obtained the one thing that most quarterbacks wish they could get that are second or third string, and that's game film.
Yeah.
Let's stay on this topic of quarterbacks now because the quarterback that he faced, everybody had high hopes for this man
Mm-hmm.
and Anthony Richardson. The kid has a lot of talent, but unfortunately in this game, it wasn't a good game for him because he 17 to 34, 204, one touchdown, 3 INTs. Getting back Jonathan Taylor, who ran for 12 carries for 103 yards,
Mm-hmm.
and a receiver in Pierce with 5 receptions of 56 yards and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
To me, here's my thoughts on Richardson. He's in the right system. He's in the right system. But here's my problem with the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
You can have talent, and we're going to keep talking about this. You can have the talent on your football team. But the coordinators and the coaching staffs have to be on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all feeding these quarterbacks and your guys these plays. They follow a certain playbook that you guys study every week. And the talent that this man has, it should be no reason why the Indianapolis Colts are 0-2. Talk to me, fellas.
One word sums up everything you just said. One word. You can have the talent. It goes back to what I was saying earlier. You can have that super team. You can have all of that. 2 words come to mind here. Chemistry and Reggie. This one right here. Development.
Development.
If you do not develop the talent that you have, you will end up like the Colts are right now at 0-2.
Look,
You
man,
have to develop
it's
those players.
it's 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 kind of a catch-22. You know, you have to let the rookies go out there and make their rookie mistakes. You know,
Right.
you have to let these young quarterbacks, year one, year two, year three, go out there and play and make their mistakes. But at the same time, if you're not correcting those mistakes, if you're not telling them,
There
hey,
you go.
then it's gonna continue to be a problem. They're gonna get confidence issues. They're gonna start lacking in their performance, and then you're gonna trash them, right? Like it's their fault. Anthony Richardson, when you put him up against a Malik Willis, and this is far exceeding anything. When Malik Willis comes in there, he's looking at it from a standpoint of, okay, this is my opportunity. I may not get an opportunity, so I need to go out and ball out. Anthony Richardson was given the job, and they didn't prepare him, so he might have that lack of, oh, I need to do this, you know. I mean, I'm not look. I don't say any quarterback they might or might not have that willingness, you know what I'm saying? But that hunger is what he needs, and I
Right.
I think right now it's just not there.
I think the Colts' problem is they're trying to find another Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck, and they just
Yeah,
want to just throw something out there to
yeah,
see that they just want to just throw somebody out there to see if they can fill those shoes. But the problem with that is you have to develop him in your system to where he can be that next Andrew Luck. He can be that next Peyton. The problem has always been like these last couple of drafts. If I can embellish real quick, these last few drafts, the problem that I'm seeing with most of these teams is that you get these new rookies. Yes, they come out of college, they hot, Heisman Trophy winners, all of that stuff. The bottom
hmm
line is when they come into your system, they're moldable clay. You have to mold and shape them into the way or the kind of player you want them to be. And by not
yep,
Yep.
doing that, and by not doing that, going back what August was saying here, by not doing that, it goes into you keep making these rookie mistakes, and then we're 2, 3 seasons in. That's a problem.
yep.
That's a serious problem. So if you don't capitalize on that, you're gonna have these issues.
Yeah.
Moving on to the NFC least, and I'm gonna have a ball on this topic.
Come
The
on,
New
come
York
on.
Football Giants
Oh Lord.
losing a nail biter to the Washington Commanders by a score of 21-18.
You
Talk
know
to
what
me,
I said
fellas.
on this one, Reggie? Reggie, you know what I said on this one? When I saw that score, the first thing popped in my head is Reggie gonna nut up on Tuesday. I said Reggie was gonna cut a fool talking about these men living in I was like, oh, yep, here we go. Here we go. Go for it, Eric. Go for it, August. Go for it. I
Hey,
can't say
hey, look,
nothing.
man. All I'm gonna say is, go LSU, go. You know what I'm saying? Go. You know, Jaden Daniels. Let's go. You know what I'm
Uh,
saying? And I'm gonna leave the
I
floor to
mean,
Reggie, man.
I mean, what these numbers that I'm looking at right here now, even though he sucked last week, he was okay to me this week. And I'm gonna Daniel Jones with 16 of 28, a buck 78, 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
Singletary, 16 for 95 with a touchdown. Neighbors, and they got a superstar in Malik Neighbors to me.
Yeah.
10 receptions, a buck 27, and a touchdown.
Eh.
Could you make this giant conversation short?
that's our
Really
producer,
don't
ladies and
Hey,
gentlemen.
all that was.
hey, my
That was
take
our
on it, like
producer.
I said it last week, and I'm going to say it this week. Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, Daniel Trash is not the quarterback that the Giants need to have.
No.
I'm going to keep saying it. They let the wrong player go, and you sign this guy to stink up MetLife Stadium is what he's doing. That's exactly what he's doing. I feel sorry for the talent that the Giants have on defense, and they got some good defensive players, and I'm going to name a couple. Kayvon Thibodeau, great defensive player. DeMarcus Lawrence, another one. Big man, and they need that. Fellas, other than Daniel Jones, what is the problem in New York?
The offensive coaching, the head
Um,
coach Brian Dable is not. I don't think he's
the
it.
call playing,
Yeah, the
the
play
play
calling.
callers.
Uh, it's a list. It's a list, man. It's a list because
And the sad
Yeah.
thing, not to cut you off, is the sad thing about this game, Jaden Daniels went 23 or 29 for 226. He didn't even throw a touchdown in this game.
hey, but look, he didn't have to. I'm sorry, but he
Mm,
didn't have to. You know what I
mm,
mean? Like, look, man, that's the problem. When you have a team that was trying to move up to get Jaden Daniels, right? Because let's be real, if they could have moved out of that number 6 spot, they wouldn't have got Malik Neighbors. They would have tried to get a quarterback, but they couldn't because nobody wanted to trade with him, and that's a
No.
fact. That is a fact. So they went with the best option at what they thought. And look, he's a good option, but he's not gonna win you any games. You know what I mean? He's not. He's just not. So
Let's stay in the NFC. And this was a shocker to me. And my brother from Detroit is gonna agree with me on this one.
man,
This was a
I,
shocker to me. This was a shocker to me. The 2-0 Buccaneers. Who would have thought? Defeating the Detroit Lions by a score of 20-16.
mm-hmm.
My
all I'm gonna tell
question
you is I
to
had
my
to stop
brother from
cussing this.
Detroit is, and he picked up on this, and I'm gonna get in his ass because we spoke about him last week, and then I'm gonna let my brother finish him off. Jared Goff. Here's my problem with Jared Goff. Let me
Oh,
before I dig in his ass, I'm gonna read y'all his stats real quick. He went 34 of 55, 307,
hold on one
which is
second.
not bad.
Hold on. I got it.
Simple. He threw for over 300 yards. We didn't even see a touchdown from this man, but you throw 2 interceptions. Here's my problem with Jared Goff. He's not patient. And we picked on this last week. Trust in your line. Relax, Jared Goff. You have the talent. You have the players. What are you doing? St. Brown, 11 receptions for $119. You got a beast right there. My brother from Detroit, what happened?
First of all, I haven't stopped cussing since Sunday. Let me start there. I haven't stopped cussing since Sunday. If you look at the total stats of the entire game, the total team stats of the entire game,
Mm-hmm.
we beat them on paper. We beat them. Total yards, everything.
Mm-hmm.
The first mistake was the play call when I believe it was third or fourth down going into the half, and the field goal unit came on the field, and the rest of the offensive unit was on the field. So miscommunication right there. That was strike one. Strike two, Jarrett being impatient. I have been screaming this since 2 seasons ago. It goes back to what I've been saying. You don't trust your line, mistakes happen. You're throwing picks, you're rushing, you're hurrying. People are missing assignments. That's another problem. Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn needs to get with their respective lines and play game film if need be, draw it up need be. You guys have to give Jarrett some time. If you don't give Jarrett time, he's going to do key screw ups as he did in this game. This game was won. This game could have been won. The problem is you're rushing. Why are you
Mm-hmm.
rushing? Why are you rushing? You have enough time. You've been in this game long enough to know if you have 3 minutes in the fourth quarter, you have time. Take your time. Run the ball down. You should have brought in Montgomery for some of the power runs during the play selection. Okay, you want to
Yeah,
bring Montgomery in for the cleanup. Gibbs can't do it all the time. You need some experience. What should have
yeah.
happened is if you want to march the ball down the field to get into within field goal range to bring yourself to a point to where okay, we're close. Bring Montgomery in for the power runs. Have Gibbs at fullback. Have your offensive line not miss assignments. If you just there was so much wrong with this game on
And
Sunday
not to
to
cut you
where
off, let
again
me.
I'm still cussing.
You had Baker Mayfield played the game that he threw for a touchdown and ran for another.
Mm-hmm.
To allow that to happen with the defense that y'all have, and that is unacceptable. That is unacceptable.
The only reason why we even came as close as we did in that game is because of Aiden Hudson in that first score. Beyond that, that game could have been out of control real quick.
Yeah.
The
Moving
defense,
on, let's stay
you got
in the NFC. And I have to give this quarterback his flowers because a lot of people was talking bad about Kyler Murray. Man, that boy balled out this weekend. Y'all got to give him his flowers. Come on,
he
y'all.
did.
Look, man.
He did.
Defeating the Rams by a
Look, man.
score of 41-10. And everybody was like, oh, they beat the Rams. It's the Rams. The Rams
I
have
mean,
talent on
Don't
that team
matter.
too. But the numbers that Kyler Murray, in my eyes, if he keeps playing like this, he could be an MVP candidate.
listen, man. Kyler Murray, he's not an MVP candidate. And I'm going to tell you why.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to tell you why. This is the same man who they had to put it in his contract that you have to do film study. You can't be spending all your day playing video games. And this is the same man that has always had a team around him. Look, yeah, when it comes to beating in division opponents, that is so wonderful for you. And I'm happy you could pull that off. And look, this is the same conversation we're having where I said, okay, the Saints beat the Panthers. Great, right? You
Yeah.
beat the Rams. Great. Now let's see you go out there and beat someone who's worthy. I'm gonna tell you right now, don't think they can pull it off. Don't think so.
But the man threw for
I believe if I'm not
threw.
mistaken.
He
I
had
said if I'm not
266 and
mistaken,
3 touchdowns. I mean,
That's great. Do it again. Do it again, man. Because the problem is
mm,
not that you can't do it, is that you're too inconsistent. That's the problem.
mm,
So
mm.
do it again. And then we
my
can talk.
brother Chaos. What's your thoughts, man?
Mm.
Am I wrong?
He can't. He can't. He can't get his flowers for just this week.
Nah, man. Nah.
That's kind of harsh.
Nah.
That's kind of harsh.
I mean, hey, it is what it is. But I guarantee you, if
I
we go ahead
mean,
and
I mean,
we
look, I understand ball is life. I understand that, but I mean, he had a hell of a game. Give him his props.
look, man, if we give this
Give him his
man his
flowers.
flowers and start saying, oh, Kyler Murray, he's finally playing like he should have this whole time, he's gonna go right back to his video games, right back to
Uh,
be
not
consistent.
necessarily. Not
Be
necessarily.
consistent.
See, here's the thing. I would rather give a player his flowers for a
Mhm.
good performance in the game, even if he does fall off the next week or the next 2 weeks. Because who's to say that next week he may do double what he did? Next week, he can end up on his ass the whole game. We
And,
don't
and, and,
know.
and look,
Give me
if he
that one moment.
doubles, if
Give me
he
one moment.
doubles what he did this week, or if he does even what he did similar to this week, I will give that man all the flowers you want me to give him. But right now, it is one game. It is one game. No,
And this goes
no.
back.
You
This goes
called,
back to
boy.
what I said last week. Any team, and week 2 was proof of that. Any team could beat you
Right,
on any given Sunday.
right.
And with that being said, let's move on to the AFC. The 2-0 Steelers. Justin Fields. Shout out to the Steelers fans out there. The 2-0 Steelers defeated Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos by a score of 13-6.
Listen, man.
Mm.
This is it. Okay, Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos. I feel you reached on Bo Nix. B, I know how Peyton works, man. He was the coach of the Saints for 20 plus years, right? This man, he wants so badly for Bo Nix to be good. He wants for him to be great. But there's still multiple pieces that you need to put around him. There's still a lot wrong with that offense. And
You know
for you
what?
to be demolished by Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, two quarterbacks who was kicked out of their teams and passed on the side,
Yeah.
You know what?
that's a problem.
August,
It's a problem.
August, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. I look at Sean Payton in Denver.
Yep.
Do you know who Sean Payton is looking for? He
Who is that?
wants Bo Nix to be his Drew Brees.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna
Yes.
break it home for you.
Bro,
I'm gonna
this
take it
man,
home for you. I'm breaking it home for you. He wants so bad. It goes.
We got some.
Remember development.
Yeah.
look,
He
man.
want he wants Bo Nix. He wants Bo to be his next Drew. You got
Listen,
to
man.
mold him.
Listen. He's not gonna get that. Look, he may. But I'm telling you right now, Peyton, he's got so much work to do with that Denver Broncos. First of all, you got to get over the fact that you're still paying your quarterback $80 million that's playing for another team.
That's playing for another team, indeed.
So
And to
so
me,
while you're trying to build a team for pennies on a dollar, okay, you can't do
and you
that in
let
the
one of your
AFC West, bro. He cannot do that in the AFC West. There
he
is
let one of his talented receivers in Jerry Judy walk out the door.
listen. You are in the AFC West with Patrick Mahomes in the Chiefs, with Justin Herbert in the Chargers. You know what I'm saying? Look, I'm not gonna count the Raiders because we all know how the Raiders are. But you're at the bottom of that list, man. If we're being honest, you're third on that list.
Yeah.
And Bo Nix, he's not doing it for you, and he's not gonna do it for you this year. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's not gonna happen. So you might as well start planning on what you're gonna put around him next year because it's not going to happen. It's not working. And look, I love Sean Payton. I do. But to me, when he decided to retire for a year just to get out because the team wasn't what he wanted, to go back a year later to the Broncos, it was a whole move. I'm sorry. It was a whole move, man.
It was. It was. And everything you speaking is facts. Let's move on. Let's stay in the AFC. For the game of the week to me,
Yes.
let's talk about it. Mahomes and Burrow. The Chiefs pulling off the upset victory. Joe Burrow going into this game was 3-1 going against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for the Bengals, they are also, I believe, are 0-2.
Yeah.
Kansas City winning a thriller at home, 26-25. Talk to me.
Yo, man, that is what football is supposed to be. That is when you have two teams who are hungry for that win, that know each other, that face off in the playoffs every year, that can study each other's moves, that know exactly how to counteract those moves, and you put it all on the field and let the best man win. Hey, sometimes it comes down to this. It doesn't matter about a scheme. It doesn't matter about your play call. It's helmet on helmet. Who wants it more? And that's what that game was. And look, the Chiefs, they came out, they wanted it more, man. They say, hey, we want that three-peat. We want to be legends. We want to be something that no one else has ever done before. And unfortunately for the Bengals, because not like we said last week, not a lot of people know about Burrow's arm, man. He's working with 80% of an arm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that may or may not, it may or may not count into him making mistakes or, not holding on to the football. Or, you know what I mean? It's crushing what happened, but that was an exciting game. And now you just got to bounce back from it.
Here's my take on Cincinnati. Since losing Mixon to Houston,
Mm-hmm.
since you got T. Higgins on the sideline,
Yep.
you got a player in Jamar Chase who you still haven't signed to a big contract.
Yep.
There's a lot of things going on in Cincinnati right now, and I don't see the Bengals being the same team that went to the Super Bowl, I think, was it 2 years ago?
Yep.
They lost their identity to me since Burrow's injury.
Yeah.
Now the problem is this. Seeing that game and seeing how Jamar Chase was acting on the sideline with his coaching staff and his quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
that tells me there's trouble. And if you don't fix that type of trouble in your organization, your team is not going to succeed. There's too many egos in that locker room. And players on that team, they're not on the same page. So if your players and your coordinators and the guys that you trust and they're calling these plays for you on a weekly basis, if you can't trust that, how in the hell is your football team going to be successful?
Yeah, man. Look, you cannot have a team where your star wide receiver is the problem, right? You can't have it. You got to make these guys cohesive. You have to make them happy, and because what it's going to come down to is either you're going to get rid of Burrow or you're going to get rid of Chase, right? You can't keep both if they keep clashing. And
No.
any organization is going to keep the quarterback. So then Chase is going to go off, get paid, start balling out of control, and you're going to be left looking like shit with your dick in your hand. You know what I mean? You can't do it.
Right. Agreed. Sunday night. Let's talk about the Texans. Sunday night, a thriller. We had two quarterbacks. I say one of them is going to be a hell of a quarterback in the future, and C.J. Stroud going against a quarterback and potential with me and Caleb Williams.
Listen, man.
Unfortunately, the Texans and that talented defense and offense with Ryans, Diggs, and all of them pulled it out with the score of 19-13. My brother August, talk to me.
Let me say something, man. And then, look, I need everybody to get real comfortable right now, okay? Because what I'm about to say may hurt somebody's feelings. But honestly, I don't care. So, CJ Stroud, a man of God, a man that every time he does an interview, he's thanking God for what he wants. He's thanking God for his accomplishments, right? And they edit that out. They cut out all that and put the little clip of him talking about football. They don't want any of that out. But yet,
Right.
you got Caleb Williams, a man that's walking around here in fucking dresses, a man that's wearing purses and stuff. And they're like, oh, this is, yeah, hooray for you. This is great, right? That man, they touted that man as being the next best quarterback to come out since Peyton Manning. He was supposed to be that guy. And the Texans did not allow that shit. They buried that man. 7 sacks. You know what I'm saying? That man,
7 sacks. Not to cut you off, to 7 sacks that's unacceptable. That is unacceptable. With the talent that Chicago, and let me get on Chicago here in a second.
yeah,
Everybody was talking about Chicago. Oh, Caleb Williams is going to change the culture in Chicago. Oh, we're going to have guys around him like a Ramaduma Day. Oh, we're going to have guys like, we're going to bring in, let's bring in DeAndre Swift. Let's bring in these guys to surround Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
But you get sacked 7 times. It's unacceptable. This goes back to what I said about the offensive line. My brother Chaos, talk to me about this game.
I'm gonna go with that was the game of the night for me. I'm gonna go with that
Yep.
because it was close. Now, touching on Caleb Williams, good quarterback, good kid, good instincts. The problem is you got a little too cocky.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it out there. You got cocky. Okay. And CJ and Diggs said, nah, let me show you how to stunt. That's what they did. Chicago made key errors and key mistakes because if my quarterback got sacked 7 times, what that tells me is we got a lot of missing assignments that we need to work on this week.
Yeah.
Because my quarterback, based off that offensive line, whether it's man coverage, deep coverage, or run play, why is my quarterback on his ass 7 times?
7 times
in a game. What? What y'all don't like him? Is this initiation? Bruh, we don't do initiation anymore. It's called you are being paid to block and make sure that he does not get touched. He got touched 7 times.
Yes, he did.
This many. Okay? What that tells me is your offensive coordinator needs his ass whooped. What Caleb needs to do is after the 3rd time I got sacked. Do y'all recall that one New England game when Tom Brady had the entire offensive line on the sidelines and he was ripping them a new ass?
Yep.
That's what Caleb should have been doing on the sidelines down in Houston.
He is a
rookie. It don't matter. It don't matter.
I doesn't have that cachet, man. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have the same type of oomph that Tom Brady has because you're a rookie.
Check this out. Okay.
What's up?
If you the quarterback, all right, me and Reggie is on your offensive line. You done got dropped 7 times total. You cannot sit here and tell me rookie, veteran, seasoned veteran, whatever. You cannot sit here and openly tell me that you will not be on the sideline in an offensive huddle telling me what the fuck is your problem? Why the fuck are you not blocking? This is your job. You need to be reading them the riot act.
Your job.
And every time, hold on, right, exactly. And every time Tom did that, did Tom fall on his ass again? Nope.
So
that's
let's stay on the Patriots topic right here since we're talking about Tom Brady.
So hold on. Because what that tells me, right? You're playing a football, you're playing a masculine sport with dudes that are full of testosterone, right? Now, let's go back to this Caleb Williams situation. Do you think a man like that, who's playing like that, who's out here doing all this feminine energy type shit, is he a man that's going to come out there and tell that to them linemen? Hell no. No, he's not.
Quick question.
The man is a rookie. This is his rookie year. Give him a
Reg, hold on. Quick question. What does his attire off the field have anything to do with him on the field?
I'm glad you asked that question. I am glad you asked that question because it tells everybody the type of man that you are, the type of energy you're giving out. And when you have men on them fields that don't give a damn about nothing but smashing the dude in front of them to get where you're trying to go, and then you come out here with that feminine energy, it's not gonna work. It's
Mm-mm.
not gonna work, man.
I disagree.
It's
I
not.
disagree
I disagree
because
too. A man
prime
on the
example.
field that doesn't define the player that he is on the
I'm
field.
not saying that it
Exactly.
defines him. What I'm saying is it is a contributing factor.
No, I don't think so. Because think about it like this. Look at Cam Newton before he got unsigned.
Mhm.
Cam Newton showed up to the arena dressed like the mask with Jim
Yeah,
Carrey.
yeah,
Okay? They
Yeah.
still blocked for him. They still defended for him. He still did his thing. They still won games. I
yeah.
feel like what that man does off the field should not be
Where you?
judged
No, 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 no,
or
no.
it be carried over onto the field.
First of
I
all,
don't
it's
agree with
two.
that.
It's no. First of all, it's two very different things. You're talking about the mask and a character, and then actually going out there and dressing like whatever because you feel like it. That's number one. Number two, Cam Newton, he had the respect of his line. He has the respect of his team. He's not out here being a pussy. He's not. You know what I'm saying? I'm simply pointing out. I'm simply pointing out, and this is no offense to anything or anybody. I'm simply pointing out that when you come into a man's sport with grown ass men, you need to come with your man energy. And that's something that I don't think he does.
How many? Look. How many games have we watched over the years
Mhm.
where some of these players have came in with questionable attire,
Mhm.
with suspicious
It
attire?
happens. It
Bro, if you
happens,
watch,
and it happens in different sports. It
Yeah,
happens in the NBA. It happens
yeah,
in Major League Baseball. It happens in
no,
the
exactly.
NFL.
okay,
That's
I'm
my
not
What
talking
point.
does,
about
and
just
not to
his
cut you off,
attire. I
what
said
does
the
the man's
attire.
attire have to do with the way he performs on the field?
It has
Thank
a
you.
lot to do with him as a person, not the
No, it
way that
doesn't.
he look. What I'm saying is, if you go back and watch Hard Knocks on Max. Go watch how he's talking to these people. Watch how he
Understood.
communicates. You would see what I'm talking about. That energy that he needs, it ain't there, son. I am telling you, it's
Hey,
not there.
my brother, I love you, but on this topic, because we got to move on, because we had an hour and 8 minutes.
Let's go, man.
We look. I love you,
A-
you my brother, but
Again,
on this one, we're gonna agree to disagree on this one, because
facts.
I
Let's
I don't agree
agree to
with that.
disagree, and we're good.
Hey,
Look, like I said, hey, and let me put this out there. Like I said, this is no beef, no disrespect, no anything to
oh,
anybody.
understood, understood.
I'm making an observation, and I'm telling you what it seems like. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
So
understood. Come on,
That's why
host,
we
let's move
here, man.
on.
This is why we here.
Yeah,
It's a couple of quarterbacks that I forgot to give their flowers to, who I'm going to give their flowers to right now.
wait before
Number
you do.
one,
Wait before you do. Wait before you do. Hold on. I do want to say this. I feel bad for Bryce Young getting benched.
and
hey,
That's
I was
cold.
just about to,
Damn,
yes, yes,
damn,
yes. I mean, come on.
damn.
The Carolina Panthers are terrible, ladies and gentlemen. I'm
hey,
sorry.
Yeah, they
look,
are.
man, they
They are.
they they went and got Andy Dalton, and you got a guy who's been in the playoffs, who knows how to command the team. Look,
Yeah,
he was our gap guy last year. I mean, 2 years ago before we got Derek, he was the
Yeah,
gap guy. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And now he's about to do same thing again. The problem with these rookies, especially when you have a rookie that's so small in stature like Bryce Young,
Mhm.
you don't have a guy that he can sit there and learn from. So they put him in right
True,
away. That was
true.
mistake number one. They should
yeah.
have
You know what they
never put
now?
him in.
I'm at. I'm gonna ask $1 million question before we wrap up here. million
All
dollar
right.
question: should the Carolina Panthers attempt to reach back out to Cam?
Ooh.
That is a good question.
Hey, okay.
Here's my answer on that.
Here's the second $1 million question though. Is Cam a better option than Andy Dalton?
Yes, yes. And why? Because Andy Dalton, no disrespect, Andy Dalton, great quarterback, great
Mhm.
quarterback. Andy Dalton, in my opinion, does not have the killer instinct that Cam would, or Cam
Right.
has, or have
Correct.
had. Because with Cam, if Cam had to put the game on his shoulders
Hmm.
and had to march them down the damn field, if he had to run it his damn self, he'd do it.
Mm-hmm.
Dalton
Mhm.
doesn't have that killer instinct because Dalton is more concerned with what if I get injured? I don't want to get
Yep.
injured. Cam didn't give a fuck. Cam walked down that damn field, and
Yeah.
he was like, "Hey," Cam was like, "Hey, I'm Harriet Tubman. We going this the Underground Railroad. We going to the promised land." Dalton doesn't have that killer instinct.
Yeah. Yeah. You
He
right.
never did, and I agree with my brother. But here's the problem with today's NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Today's NFL right now and quarterbacks, they want a quarterback that can do what?
That can run.
Everything.
That can
That
run.
can run.
Yeah.
Cam was that type of player because he had the perfect offensive line to
Yeah.
do
He
so.
did.
Yep.
Yeah, he did.
Carolina invested money into protecting Cam Newton,
Yep.
and he almost had him to the Super Bowl, but
They got smoked.
They
we
got
had
to the Super
somebody
Bowl.
else.
They got to the Super Bowl, but you know,
We
they
have
lost.
somebody else that want to come in and speak their mind. Let's
Come
bring them
on.
on. What's going on? Let's bring them on. Speak your piece.
Oh, real quick. Hey, August.
What
I
up?
just realized something.
What up?
Cam had Olsen as a fall guy.
Yeah. Greg Olson.
Cam had Olsen. He
He
Yeah,
had
also
Greg
he
had
had
Olsen.
Steve
Olsen
Smith. He also had Steve
and
Smith.
Steve Smith
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he had Steve
and
Smith.
Steve Smith.
Yeah,
But
man.
here's a couple of players
And
that I want
Jonathan
to give
Stewart.
flowers
And
to,
Jonathan Stewart at running back.
and Jonathan Stewart at running back. Let's not forget about that. But here's a couple of players that I want to give flowers to in week 2.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Both of them being former Jets, and I had to give them their credit. Number one, and I said it last week, give this man his flowers. You got to give Sam Darnold his flowers.
Oh,
You have to. And I knew, and you knew where I was going with this. You have to give the Vikings their flowers. They're 2-0. They have, if he can stay healthy, they have a hell of a receiver in Justin Jefferson. Look what the man did to San Francisco this week.
But they lost. Is Justin playing Sunday?
He
I think
might.
Justin got hurt in that game.
He got hurt with a quad injury, but look at the numbers. Look at that
Right.
touchdown pass. They
Right.
were in their own end zone. And what did Sam Darnold do? Something that we've been saying since last week. He trusted in that offensive line.
There you
San
go.
Francisco's defense and San Francisco's team have not been the same since they have injuries now. Now they have more injuries that they have to worry about. Losing Debo Samuel,
They got
one of their
Debo.
top. Losing Debo. You don't have McCaffrey.
Ooh.
You have an okay running back in Mason, who I think could be explosive, but let me see some more out of
So
you.
listen.
Can you do it? Can you keep
So
it
now-
consistent?
So
Purdy,
now,
hey, listen. Purdy
you
is in
see,
church like this right now. Purdy is like
you
this
know-
right now.
Exactly. You see now if Purdy is that guy or not. Because you had him surrounded with all these weapons. Now you see the truth. Can this man go in there and lead that team without all them weapons? That's what you gonna find out this Sunday.
Guess you
Here's a
are.
prime example. They now NFC Championship. Let's flash back for a second. NFC Championship. They had to pull Debo off the injured list to
Yeah.
beat us
Yeah.
because McCaffrey couldn't do it all.
Yeah.
No.
McCaffrey couldn't do it all. So they needed Debo. Right now, Debo is down again. And now Purdy has no weapons.
Yep.
No.
He has no weapons. So now the question gets asked, because this is Purdy's second, third season? The question gets asked now. The
I
question
believe
gets
this is
asked now
third.
because the third season, okay. The question gets asked now, if I'm Kyle Shanahan, knowing the history and legacy of the 49ers, Montana,
Right.
Young, Kaepernick,
Right.
can Brock Purdy fill those shoes with the limited options that he has?
Right. Right.
There's the question. Can he
That's a
do
great
that?
question. That's a great question.
Yeah. And look, man, I hate how you said Montana, Young, Kaepernick. You just gonna leave out Alex Smith like he didn't exist. That's okay though. We you
No,
know we
Shout
but
gonna
out
no,
to
talk.
no.
Alex Smith.
We gonna
Shout out to
talk.
Alex
My
Hey
Smith.
bad,
man,
my bad. Shout out to Alex. My bad. Shout out to Alex. However, what I'm saying is, don't get me wrong. Purdy is a good quarterback. Good
right.
quarterback. But the thing is, what defines today's quarterback, sadly, is the weapons you have on the line.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Take me back to the days to where the weapons weren't a factor. The
Yep.
skill set, the skill set
I
is
mean,
what
okay,
made you a
okay.
good
I mean,
quarterback.
wait. This could be a whole nother podcast, but we can't talk about how weapons weren't a factor. When you want, if you want to talk about Tom Brady, that man had Randy Moss, Corey Dillon, Lawrence Maroney. Like, bro, this man,
Wes
he,
Welker. We can
Wes
keep going.
Welker,
We can keep going.
Gronkowski. Bro, this man
Gronk,
had
yeah,
weapons. He
right,
had
right.
Another
weapons.
He had
quarterback.
weapons. However, he had weapons, but however, ask yourself this question: the key thing about a quarterback, and yeah, I'm gonna go there right quick, August. I'm gonna go there. Let's go back to the greats real quick. Although they had the weapons, they had the skill set to pick apart the defense.
Absolutely not.
Let's go back to
Absolutely.
Eric Kramer.
Absolutely
Let's go
not.
back to Eric Kramer.
Absolutely
Eric
not.
Kramer when he was in Chicago. No, hold on. You have your weapons, yes. Okay. Now, August, if you a quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
you play for the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
You playing me. Okay. Your
Mm-hmm.
your objective, along with your weapons, is okay. I got to pick apart this defense to make sure that my guy Reggie or my guy Mel or my guy Beast is open. I have to have that skill set to be able to get that ball off within
Mm-hmm.
5 seconds. If it's a pass play
Mm-hmm.
and they got deep man coverage, I got to be
All you're
able to
doing
pick
right
apart this
now
defense.
is making my point on
What?
why Tom Brady is not the GOAT, on
Oh
why
boy.
Drew Brees is the GOAT, on why you have a quarterback that he went to the Super Bowl and won it with his best receiver being a seventh round guy from Hofstra. But
It.
Tom Brady had all the weapons in the world, man,
I
against,
think
might I add, a AFC that had
I.
only Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, and maybe sometimes Philip Rivers. That was it.
I'm. What I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is because I think you and I are in agreement, but we're kind of wording it differently. What I'm
Hmm.
saying is even with those weapons,
Hmm.
because yeah, Drew had weapons.
No,
Peyton
he
had
didn't. No, he
Harrison.
did not. He did not have
Hold on,
weapons.
hold on, hold on, hold on,
That's
hold on.
another
Peyton,
podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
right.
For
Peyton
the
had
show.
Harrison. But what I'm saying is this. I'm talking about skill set. I'm talking about
Hmm.
although you have those weapons,
Hmm.
you know how to dissect
Yeah.
the other team's defense to get what you want. That's what I'm saying. So
Hmm.
what
Right.
I'm saying is you and I are in agreement, but I think we're wording it differently.
You're wording it different. Folks,
Yeah, that's all.
I want to wrap this up. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. I appreciate the viewers watching, and we want to thank you for another edition. I know we didn't cover some of the games, but I'll make sure we get to those next week. Join
Oh
us
yeah.
next week number 3. NFL is
Mm.
getting interesting, y'all. I want to thank my brother August Stevens. I want to thank my brother Chaos. Until next time, peace and love, y'all. We
Yes,
out.
sir.
Big meeting come pay attention. The money come when you stop pretending. The funny talk gon' stop too. I ain't playing games with fucking gremlins. Fuck a goblin, you barely popping. We keep winning, we ain't fucking stopping. You fucking phony, stop telling stories. We can tell you lying for a little glory. Lex Luthor, no Lex Luthor. My heroes then used to shoot the juicer. Y'all shoot the club up for no reason. How I know? Cause no one bleeding. Pill poppers are the real monsters. Kill farmer, then kill the doctors. Kill the haters that's always hating on what we doing cause we popular. Big bag, I'm a big deal. Plenty cash, we skipping jail. Pass and go, we buying blocks. No fish kills, we big whales. Real estate got the market corner. Dudes keep missing, make a target for 'em. Proof in the pudding, y'all eating porridge where we lifting weights every fucking morning. Moonwalk on that heated floor. Take a splash in that swimming pool. No lazy man, we hard working till the clock stop, we making moves. Shut the fuck up, we talking now. Shut the fuck up, we talking now. Shut the fuck up, we talking now. Shut the fuck up, we talking now.